If you can stop talking for 10 seconds, that would be fantastic. You want to hit the start timer on there? You want to hit? You want to start podcasting, genius?
Hey, Biff, do you know why I find it hard to trust mermaids?
Oh, good God. This again. Why do you have a hard time trusting mermaids, Jacques?
There's something fishy about them.
Yeah, okay. So funny mermaid story. Funny mermaid story. Not a funny. So, like in the Cabin in the Woods, one of the, obviously one of the greatest movies of all time.
Agreed.
There's a merman joke, right? I didn't know merman was a word, until that movie. Like I thought merman was, like Ethel Merman's last name kind of a thing, right? I mean, that's what merman was to me. It's like that's a word. That's Ethel's last name. But
that was that final scene where it's still
Bradley Whitford.
It was just the best. All right, here we go. Biff, what has 2 wings, a tail, and breathes fire?
I'm supposed to say something like, "Hey, that's a dragon."
A chicken with heartburn.
Yeah.
A chicken with. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel. It is Jacques.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. No, this is Biff.
And playing the role of Joe tonight is Joe.
Who saw that one coming? First of all, the sideshow last week, gentlemen, thank you for indulging me again. That was a lot of fun to actually talk about, hey, these are the things in life that haven't sucked this year. So it was nice to end the year / start the year on a new note. I don't want to throw out any names, but Biff and I have been talking to a dear friend who I'm so happy if that's going to happen the next few weeks. I let Joe know there's a pretty big fish in the the New England comedy world who hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be chatting to. I'm really excited because I was able to kind of do what I was hoping to do with the Bill Fay interview. It sent it to a lot of friends and friends of friends and friends who I have kind of lost contact with and said, hey, if this guy can come and do our shitty little podcast, you have no excuse, Mom. So my mom will be on the podcast soon.
We should have your mom on the podcast. It'll be
my God.
That, you know what? Maybe the episode where the two of you host without me would be talking. I would love you guys to talk to Dan, my guitarist, forever since like 89, and our bass player / guitarist, John Hunt, who lives in Austin. And it's funny because I think one of the most fun nights Joe and I had hanging out was with my friend John when he was in town, our friend John when he was in town, John Hunt, and retelling stories and John correctly telling me, it's like, okay, Jack, that's kind of how it happened, but this is how it really went down. Was that not a blast, Joe?
It was. It wasn't indeed. If only I could remember the stories now. So that's the thing is.
I think that session is called, Jacques is not the hero of this story.
And I'm the hero in some of the stories, but I don't remember most of them. More importantly, I don't know about you two clowns. I have not broken one of my New Year's resolutions yet. Not one.
Me neither.
Neither have I.
I haven't made any.
Neither have I. I'm 0 for 0.
Batting 1,000. Yeah. So we were just talking.
I don't think that's batting 1,000. It's just not, I'm not
batting 0.
Well, no, I made a resolution not to make resolutions. So, the inception of resolutions. As we're recording this podcast, Joe and I are in the midst of Snow-Magedon.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the first day in 650 days in the New England area of actual accumulation, like notable accumulation of snow. So we're overdue.
So you rent, Joe. Does your landlord responsible for snow removal, or do you have to get out there and shovel?
Yes, and you know what? That's bullshit because I've had snow since I've moved here, so I don't think it's 600 days. But in any case, yes, we have had. I don't have to shovel shit unless I have to get out of my driveway. Then yes, I do have to shovel. I'm not waiting for them. I have to go.
I'm gonna test this. Both my my healthy, capable, able teenage sons have pledged that they're going to do the shoveling this year.
Is Tristan inviting his friends over?
Oh God, yeah. I can't.
He's Tom Sawyer.
The
really
thing to do is just not stock the house with anything. He said, "What are you gonna eat?" I don't know. We're gonna have to get out of the house to get any food. So okay, let's go. You're not going to leave until
I'm going to jump around a little bit on the rundown, and I don't know if Tristan's going to be able to help shovel because I don't know if you know this. My mother got into a knife fight with my son and cut him up pretty good.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a phone call I got from school as my little guy was showing off scratches he got from his cat, and when asked what happened, decided to tell people with sincerity that he got into a knife fight with my mother, which the school called, and I let it go to voicemail because I'm like, I'll just listen to the message. I'll see if this is a get in the car and go get him thing or just I can deal with it later. But then it followed up with an email where the teacher was like, look, I know it probably didn't happen, but he has said this and we have to follow the rules. And I'm like, and I said, look, I'm not saying my mother from Everett doesn't have a checkered past, but she hasn't been in a knife fight since the 80s.
I mean, he has a future in politics. He should go contact Santos, get the formula.
But sir, my wife was like, did you really write that back to the school? I'm like, yeah, I did. And the great thing is, it wasn't my mother stabbed him. My 80-year-old mother stabbed him, which, by the way, he's the favorite grandchild because he's the youngest. But a knife fight, which means
there were two knives.
Yeah.
Unless somebody brought a gun to a knife fight.
Right.
Then it would be escalated. This reminds me of the comic Greg Fitzsimmons, who put out a book years ago called Dear Mrs. Fitzsimmons. And it was a compilation of letters from the school to his mother about his misbehavior. He's an Irish boy, shocker. And you know what? I think you should be saving these voicemails. Like these should be
so
just for future
you should
podcasts.
archive it. Yeah, put it on your, one of your Apple Drive or whatever drive that you have. Yeah.
I picked him up from school that day, and him, his brother, and we drove right to my mom's. Like, why are we going to Grammy's? I was like, I gotta go talk to Grammy. We get over there. I just call up the email, and I hand her the phone, and I'm like, Ma, can you read this? And she's reading it, and she, like, Tristan, she's trying not to laugh. She's trying to be mad and laugh at the same time. And then when I showed her my response, it was
great. So now, I mean, this is going to be a thing. Like, he's just going to do bits. Like, this is it's it. And you're going to love most of them. So, Well, he doesn't know. He only has 2 more years of school left, right?
No. Yes, probably.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Yes.
Probably, yes. I may or may not have been in
He's
the wrong.
14. He only has 2 years of school left.
When we drove past the Baroka House of Correction, and I pointed to it, and I said, "You want me to get the room ready?" So comedy stuff. I had a very nice, productive Zoom punch up comic session with our friend Lauren Sims the other day, which was fantastic.
Okay, so tell us about Lauren.
Well, we had her on the podcast a little while ago. She's a great comic, but she's kind of in the same vein as I am. We're on the older side of getting into comedy later, and most of the open mics aren't for us. The material we work out isn't going to go over well with stone 20-somethings.
So you got to go more MAGA is what you're saying.
Yes, 100%. Like, it's, hey, happy January 6th for those who celebrate.
It used to mean Little Christmas.
Yes. My sister just left my son's swim meet because it's Three Kings. Is that what it is?
Three Kings Day, yeah.
Is that what it
Today's
is?
Three
I had
Kings.
no idea.
Yeah, it's like Three Kings Day, and I think maybe tomorrow's Little Christmas.
What is Three Kings Day and Little Christmas, Joe?
I think Three Kings Day, it's celebrated like in the Latin community more. And I think it's like the Epiphany, or honestly, I don't know.
Does it involve the gold, frankincense, and myrrh?
Oh no, it's the day that the three kings met up with Jesus and gave him his presents.
So it does involve gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Yes,
because I don't know what frankincense and myrrh are.
Right.
I was good. Okay, I don't either. Thank you.
I remember Susie Essman had
what the hell is myrrh?
Yeah, Susie Essman had
don't bring the Wisemans.
Yes,
the Wisemans.
Yeah. Oh, the Wisemans are coming. Oh, the Wisemans.
They're the worst.
Yeah. Oh, and you got myrrh. Oh, good, because we're all out of myrrh.
Oh, she's so. That was
but yeah, and then Little Christmas is tomorrow, I think, or Orthodox Christmas, Greek Orthodox. So yeah. Anyways, that's the excuse I give for keeping my tree up still. So,
sadly, we usually keep our tree up almost the month of January. Shocking, but just had new furniture delivered, so something had to go, and it was a tree. So
you got your Archie Bunker chair.
I got my Archie Bunker chair. Next time you come over, you can look at it, meathead, but you will not be stifle at you.
Get out of my chair. Shut up, you. I'm sorry.
No, please. No one was stopping you. No one. So no, it's been nice, like, Zooming with Lauren. Also, I've been working with Wayne. It's Wayne Russell.
Wayne Brady.
Wayne Russell from Open Mic Pain. It's funny because a couple weeks ago, I've been talking with Wayne for a while, and he knows he needs a good 5-10 minute like PG-13 set, and I got a call last minute, a book show I was doing. It's like, hey, do you got a clean comic who could do 7 minutes? And I'm like, I got a couple comics. I end up having my friend Ian come, who's great, but Wayne's been really working on it. And he did the KO comedy thing last Friday, which was a lot of fun. Nice. It was great. He didn't have you to do the drum roll. On all his jokes, like you were here for that, which I don't want to do another KO comedy unless you're here doing the drum fill for me. I mean, I'm a hacking comic who really, really needs that. And yeah, our friend, another friend of the podcast, Mike Katrobis, I just saw he posted on Instagram the other day from his bed getting ready to have knee surgery.
Oh.
No, it was like, hey, starting off the new year, walking, it's going to be a great thing.
Eventually, right? Yeah.
Well, that's good. Then I see a post today that he's headlining somewhere tonight. I'm like, dude,
okay, that's good.
Dude, he goes,
Jay Leno.
Right. I'm like, he's like, I'm either a trooper or an idiot, and where I'm working the Pats game tomorrow, I think I'm leaning towards idiot.
Yeah.
But he and I have a show. He's headlining. I'm hosting in a couple of weeks. So that's it on the comedy thing.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fun. But the real comedy gold is Joe came over for the day before New Year's. Joe, why don't you run down the watch list of what we entered, what we were ringing in the what do you call the day? Anyways, New Year's Eve.
Got that?
New Year's Eve.
Yes. Oh God, what did we? Well, I know you surprised me with. You literally surprised me because you were like, "Don't look," because I'm pulling up something that's going to be, gold. And I think it was an episode of The Streets of San Francisco, starring Carl Malden and Michael Douglas, and guest starring Leslie Nielsen as the drunk cop who accidentally kills his partner in a tussle with a traffic stop. It was not a funny episode as you might think with Leslie Nielsen.
Right.
Surely he was serious.
So he didn't have his the fart thing either.
No, right. Well, I'm sure he did backstage in his
make
dressing
on the show.
Right. It did not pop up, but this was this was what 74 episodes, something like that.
Right, yeah.
So like years before Police Squad, and years before Airplane. So he was good. And then what else did we watch? We watched some. I think we watched some Stooges. Yeah, Three Stooges, not the Stooges.
It was funny because we saw some episodes that Joe A.B'd a couple episodes that we watched that were can you say color corrected if it's black and white?
No, I mean I originally no. I originally pulled up a VHS upload of the 1987 New Year's Eve Three Stooges marathon from TV 38 in Boston with commercials that I found on the Internet Archive, and I spoke about during our last thing. So I pulled that up, and I was like, "Oh, this will be fun. We can watch a commercial with Danny Ainge at Gold's Gym, or what was it, the Holiday Inn Express, or I forget what it was." And then what else? And then I was like, we were watching the episodes, and like it was okay, but the commercials were fine. Hearing Dana Hersey from the Movie Loft just promote everything, it was great. But at some point, it just became unwatchable because it was like very like muddy prints that they got in Boston at the time. Like they were getting like film prints basically, and so we put up. I replayed the episode that we had finished watching, and at the end of the episode, the Stooges are old men. It's the Women Haters Club. It was like the very first Stooge short. And at the very end, they're old men, and they're doing something on the table, like in the clubhouse, waiting for, they're just sitting around. And I couldn't tell what they were doing originally. And then when I put on the DVD upload that I have on my Plex, I saw that they were playing dominoes. I'm like, oh my God, they're not just sitting around a black table, shuffling their hands indiscriminately. So yeah, they were night and day, night and day quality. I can't. What else? Did we watch any other
classic movie with Sally Field's worst kiss?
Yes, Smokey and the Bandit. Bandit. We unfortunately couldn't find Smokey and the Bandit 2. It was unavailable, so we thanks to Sully's Plex, we were able to stream that, and it was my first viewing.
You didn't opt for like Cannonball Run to if you didn't have Smokey and the Bandit 2, go for the Cannonball Run instead.
You know what, I'd already seen Cannonball Run, and I know that we needed to do the Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, okay.
If we couldn't get one, we were going to get two, but
that's luckily, Jackie Gleason, is that right? Also?
Yes.
Right? He's the sheriff. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that movie came out, what, like 75 or so? Is that about right?
I think, something like that. I think Jackie Gleason gained 40 pounds during the filming of that movie because he chewed up so much scenery.
Yeah, I think I saw it on TV once, and that was who.
Joe and I watched Cannonball Run a couple months ago together, and that was a delight. I don't think there's a solid 3 seconds in a row of Cannonball Run that isn't dated, that holds up.
Oh, right.
Smokey and the Bandit isn't as bad, but it's funny because Paul Williams, which is Paul Williams awesome. But yeah, Jackie Gleason was great, and there was a side character that we look up, and it's like turned out like he was huge in like the 60s. It doesn't matter, but it was a lot of fun. We watched that. Then we watched Norm Macdonald, like the ball. Joe and I can party. Let's just put it out there. Let's just put it out there. I think we were 3, Coke Zeros in.
We're just rubbing it in now. These guys are just too jealous.
But okay. So I don't know what made Joe think of this, other than his brain is great. But he's like, "Do you ever see Norm Macdonald on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?"
Oh, right. I forget what I watched. Yeah. So in the year 2000, he was on Millionaire, it was the week. It was like a week of.
Is it one of those celebrity things? Or yeah.
Yeah. So they all played for charity. It was like Drew Carey and people of the time. And if you remember the format, in order for they were like 6 or 8 competitors vying to get into the hot seat. You weren't just automatically pulled in. You had to do the fastest finger.
Right.
Which is like you do the multiple choice in the fastest time.
Right.
And Norm Macdonald's episode started with just Norm Macdonald because he was at the end of the celebrity run. But Regis says, Okay, Noah McDonald is here, but he insists on doing the fastest finger question. So here's the fastest finger question. Put these letters in the order of a popular man's name. N O R M. And so he gets that, and then he goes on a tear. Like his audience friend is Kato Kaelin, who he calls a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man. It's a half an hour of magic because he goes on a run. He uses all his lifelines, probably wastes a couple.
Who did he call?
He called Sam Simon, who was the co-creator of The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
And who left after season 3.
Okay.
It made a lot of money, but and has since passed. So yeah, he's gone. Regis is gone. Norm's gone. Kato Kaelin's still around. Why?
Yeah.
Why? But Joy Behar was also in the audience.
I think that's a cockroach thing, right? I mean, that's the cockroach theory. Yeah.
But it's if I got anxiety watching it a third time with Jacques. It was just because the way because he's a gambler, and he's like he knew. Like he had hunches that he knew that he could play. Like there's one point where he had the 50-50. He's like, all right, I think it's Madrid and Spain. Now, if I use the 50-50, there's not some guy in the back that's just going to leave up Madrid and Spain. He's like, no, it's been set in stone, weeks ago. Yeah, all right, give me the 50-50. Ding. And it says Madrid and Spain. He's like, hey, You're just I swear that had nothing to do with what
Regis is kind of a dick. And the thing is, Norm's not playing for his money. And it's going from like the $50,000 to the $250,000 question. And Norm's pretty sure he knows the answer. And then Regis would be like, that's a lot of money to lose for the kids, Norm. You dick. And pretty much, he didn't call him a dick, but he pretty much called him a dick.
At the end, towards the end, he was getting really up there. And Norm's thinking, and Regis is like, you have a gambling streak in you, don't you? You want to beat the game, don't you? Like he was really goading him. Like Regis was the perfect foil to Norm.
That's funny.
It was a great dynamic, and it's worth a watch. Thank God YouTube exists, and thank God VHS existed. I always say that. Proceed, Jacques, with the podcast.
But cutting back to Kato Kaelin 24 times, and he's sitting next to Joy, and he's sitting next to Joy Behar, and they're interacting. I'm like, this has got to be the most awkward fucking, She's watching at home a week later. It's like this fucking guy,
or Joy was like drunk as all heck, and he's like whatever.
Joy had her. I think Joy had her hand in Kato's lap at one point, and which Kato pointed out, because he's a good man.
He's a good man. I gotta tell you, his hair looked fantastic. His hair looked fantastic, and
mid 2000s glory.
But Regis was like, whose house you living at these days, Kato? It's like, wow.
Hey, Regis, I want to let you know that Kato and I we like the ladies. All right. Just so I don't want to get you any funny business, because we're not gay, is what I'm saying.
It was classic Norm. It was literally it was great. But yeah, I mean, definitely worth the watch, or worth the watch for us. And who knows what gonna watch? Like Joe's wife's going out of town next week, so I'm gonna go over there. And Joe, this past week, talking to me like we do, says, hey, why don't we start watching the old after school specials?
I've been on this kick recently or lately of just like going through like IMDb in the year 1980 specifically, like just like that. Yeah. That's like the sweet spot of like the transition from the 70s to the 80s. Okay. And especially for made for TV movies, and just looking up like what was a made for TV movie in that year, and there are a lot of gems. You're like The Boy Who Drank Too Much, and I can't read the titles in my head without hearing Eddie Anderson, from The Love Boat, like that. the announcer from ABC.
I have a 2-minute after school special story,
please.
So, there was an after school special that involved Christy McNichol, who was she in 80s Enough? Is that what she was in? Can't remember which. But so and her parents got divorced, and then her dad was remarrying. She wasn't happy about it, but turns out her dad's new teacher, dad's new wife is her new teacher. So
Hmm.
now she starts getting her friends involved in hazing her own teacher. And so a bunch of us saw this after school special, and we had this one teacher that we did not like. And part of it is that it was the first period teacher. She was a history teacher. She would 25 minutes into the class, she would leave the class. Okay, I'll be right back. And then she comes back drunk. Okay.
Ooh.
And so we did. So one of the things that these kids did was that, okay, so when she comes back from her drinking, right, while she was out drinking, while she comes back, okay, everybody, when she comes back, whatever you do, just copy all of the gestures that she does. Because, obviously, if you're a teacher and the entire class is doing that crap, right, then, the teacher's going to kind of go bananas. But this teacher was so drunk, and normally we're so rowdy that because we were all just imitating her, we were so quiet. She says, God, you guys are being so good today. So, yeah.
So thank you, Chrissy McNichol, for giving this teacher a moment of peace.
That's right. Let's just say our plan did not work.
Well, I mean, I was hoping that she would be like staggering and falling, and so like the whole class would have to stagger and fall out of their chairs. The 70s.
So have you guys seen these videos or these trends lately? Girl math, wife math, where they're, or Disney math. It's like, oh, and I hate to say it, but when I saw the Disney math one, I'm like, I've used every one of those justifications. Like, if you spend $1,000 on a season pass, but it costs $200 to go a day, if you go 6 times, it's basically going for free. Like that. So I spent 2 hours. I won't get into the minutia, but we had this thing with buying new phones from Verizon, all this stuff. A couple things went sideways. I spent 2 hours with one person a couple weeks ago. Stuff was supposed to happen. I spent 2 hours the other day, and I ended up getting like $600 back. And I'm like, and I said to my wife, I was like, I just made $150 an hour. And she's like,
Oh my God, I won.
right, like,
Right.
One of the things is like, oh, we had to return a phone. It's like, oh, the phone was never returned. It's like, and I will tell you, I won't forget the guy's name, Mark Toronto, because it sounds like a made-up name. I love Toronto, and he was the sales guy. When they gave me the FedEx packing slip, he goes, you should take a picture of this tracking number. They lose shit. And so when I'm on the phone to the other side of the world, they're like, I'm like, look, that phone was never used. It was never turned on, blah, blah, blah. Here's the FedEx tracking. It was delivered to Fort Worth, signed for by this guy on December 26th. It's like, okay, let me look. And he comes back, goes, well, there was usage on the phone. It was turned on December 30th. I'm like, 4 days after you got it at the factory, It's like, oh yeah, they probably just turned it on to check that it was in. But I did. I felt like I won $600 of charges they weren't supposed to have.
Did you make a dumb Toronto joke?
No.
Because I wish you would have, but not the one that you think of. So do you know that there was a band named Toronto?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, with a female singer. So if you would have made that reference, and by the way, weird trivia about the band Toronto. They originally created this, wrote this song called "What About Love." Do you remember that song? What About Love?
What about love?
That's right.
Yeah.
A #1 hit by Heart.
Yeah.
Originally done by Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. Yeah, well, Heart's another Canadian band, so they probably crossed paths at one point.
Canadian. They're not Canadian.
One of the sisters is.
No, they just
making shit up.
They just, you know what? They did go to Vancouver a lot because they were in Seattle, but no.
Jacques left his heart in Toronto.
And my harp in San Francisco. Oh, shut up, Jacques.
Yeah.
No, but it was, I was like celebrating the management, as she does. My little rain cloud's like, we just got the money back they weren't supposed to take. I'm like, I just made $600. Can you let me have this one? This one.
You sound just like the people at the bank.
Exactly. Well, it's one of those things where you save like $10 a month if you do the auto pay thing, but that means you never look at a bill. And then I'm like, why is this so much money? It's like, oh, because we didn't get this, whatever. But like I said, 4 hours, 2 calls to the other side of the world. And I'm like, okay, Jacques, be patient. Just be patient. Like, you just know you're going to have to repeat things at least 17 times. It's not them. It's your accent, and I try not to be racist because it turns out, looking at my notes,
Because you are.
well, Boston is pretty racist. I don't know if you guys know that. And if you're unsure, on Max, used to be HBO.
Yeah.
Max.
Soon to be Disney.
Soon to be, yes. That will then become Google. That will then become Disney.
Sure,
That will then become part of the collective. Anyways, there's a great 3-part documentary. I think Joe and I had a conversation the other day. Documentaries only need to be 3 episodes.
Perfect amount of episodes.
Perfect amount.
Yeah.
It's called A Murder in Boston.
Yeah.
And Biff, I don't know.
Well, no, we talked about this.
News.
Yeah, no. We talked about this in our thing. So I'm actually I actually for some reason know about this, but yeah.
No, it was. I mean, and the guy, like the couple lived Reading, which was a neighboring town to where I grew up.
Okay.
And I was working in South Boston, at the time. I had a job at the ceiling fan place, and all these names that I haven't heard in years. The different people they arrested, which, God, 40 years later, as soon as I heard the name, it's like, oh, right, that was the first guy they pinned it on. Yeah. Oh, this was the second guy they pinned it on. But they go beat by beat, the interviews they got, the behind-the-scenes footage. I didn't realize this because why would I? I grew up white in the suburbs.
Right.
I didn't know stop and frisk was a big thing in Boston in the 80s.
Yeah, I actually did not know that part of it either because I always associated that with New York.
Yeah,
and I knew it occurred in LA also, but yeah.
And they're talking to these cops who, even in hindsight, even 40 years later, they're like, look, we just told people to get up against the wall and let us check you. I mean, what's the big deal? Just comply. It's like, and they would literally go to junior highs and high schools, wait for the bell to ring, and just randomly pick kids that they thought, this kid looks like he's trouble. Let's just shake him down. And in many cases, it's like, drop your pants. We want to make sure you got these baggy pants. We can't see. It's like making kids drop their pants. And it's like, and here's, a lawyer type, or spokesperson, civil rights person, flat out saying it's like they have more power than the judges. Like a judge couldn't tell you to drop your pants in the middle of court and you had to do it. Otherwise you were getting arrested and the fuck beat out of you.
Well, the comment I made was that, I think it was like an LAPD article, and I can't remember the exact source, but I know this story of somebody was basically accompanying, one of these people were accompanying these beat cops, and then like they had a consent decree for their kind of this, racially targeted, stops and whatever else, right? And then while they're in the car, observers in the car, like this lead cop who's kind of training, like a newer cop is saying. Right, we're gonna check out that guy. So it's okay, and then goes on to explain like, well, he just like the dude's just standing in the corner, and basically just because it's kind of like I said, it's kind of ingrained in them, So
King Kong ain't got nothing on me, But yeah, no, and like I said, it's 40 years later, and it was such shoddy police work, like any other. Well, it's one of those things. It's like, oh. White guy says a black guy shot a white woman. Okay, let's not investigate anything other than this. Like, let's not look to see if there was insurance policies taken out. Let's not see if there was, I mean, like I said, it was as they went bit by bit, and they're like, oh, this policy and that policy. It's like, oh, yeah.
Huh. So I think that's what's changed with modern times is that, because, if there's anything that, that whatever those those NBC murder shows have or those cop shows have taught you is that when a spouse dies, the other surviving spouse is going to be the first suspect.
Yes.
So it predates that notion.
Yeah, if only Dick Wolf were around when Charles Stewart murdered his wife.
Right.
So many black lives would have been.
So I mean, it's really that's the credit that we have to give the whole Law and Order franchise, right? I mean,
well, that's one of my the joke that always gets a laugh when I talk my wife recently asked if anything happens to her and she passes away. I pause and I look to the side, and I'm clear to the charges. Would I ever remarry? Yeah, no, it was brutal. It was a hard watch, but it was like I said, again, the footage that they had, the interviews, but you go down the list, everybody from Ray Flynn, the mayor, to the chief of police, to the district attorney, like O'Malley, Flynn, McMasterson, you know what I mean? It was the trope of
Tipsy
it all.
McStagger.
Yeah, exactly. And all older, like 50 years, and even all the cops, middle-aged, older middle-aged, Catholic, Irish, racist fucks. It was
Yes.
like I said, it was a hard watch, but it's great, and it's only 3 episodes, so it's that fourth one where they stretch it out. But I highly recommend that, and recommend people stop being racist. Anyways, you got any crime stories from Japan, Biff?
You know what? I did not look anything up because it's been a kind of a crappy week in Japan. I don't know if you heard. So with I think the death toll from the earthquake has hit 100 now, but obviously we're talking about hundreds missing, and and that whole crap. And then to top it off, they had a little accident on the airport, between two airplanes. So
luckily only, not nobody on the cabin and crew, or nobody on either plane died except for
the
Coast Guards.
On one plane, 5 out of 6 of the Coast Guard members died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But on the other one, there was like over 300 passengers on a ANA passenger train, and all of them survived.
So I didn't really follow the story. So the Coast Guard, was it a plane of just Coast Guard?
Right, they were basically their personnel, right? And I think they were I'm presuming they're transporting personnel from Tokyo to wherever.
And they thought they had the right of way, or they thought they had rights to the landing, and or the pilot, or the passenger pilot who thought.
Yeah,
that they
so
had
the pilot, who is the lone survivor, said that he got clearance to take off, but then like the recording clearly indicates that or the transcript from the exchange clearly indicates that they were supposed to stop at the designated waiting area until the other plane lands.
Oh.
So that's the stuff that they have to get to the bottom of. And the guy is basically in still in pretty like ICU and stuff like that. So obviously that and I haven't heard anything from the black box released yet. So but that's the latest that I heard. But what it sounds like, and it was speculated from the beginning based on some expert just analysis, is that it's most like essentially not to necessarily pick on the Coast Guard guys, but they don't fly like the commercial airplane guys. And the commercial airplane guys, this is their routine. It's really, really unlikely that the commercial airplane would land when they're not supposed to.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
pilot error. That's too bad.
Yep. Yeah. It's scary how much I was listening to 2 women on NPR. The FAA doesn't keep certain stats. Like, they don't consider it a close call if it's within 500 yards. It has to be like close to 500 yards for them to have an incident report. But these women have documented, and it's several times a day. It's just in the United States where it's more than 500 yards, but only because one pilot realized they're about to take off as another plane's landing and pulled out or something like that, so they weren't in 500 yards, but we're seconds away from it's crazy how much that stuff actually happens. And but then when you have the US military and Japanese commercial planes,
I'm sorry, Japan does not have a military.
No. Our military, our Coast Guard, And and wouldn't be surprised. It's like, well, we're American. We get the right of way, don't we? So,
didn't we win that war?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. By the way, bad week for the airline industry, because I think they just grounded the 737 MAX planes after that little fuselage blowout. Have you heard about this fuselage blowout?
No.
I think it was an Alaska Airlines flight that was en route to Los Angeles, and then basically a chunk of the plane just kind of like blew off.
Hmm.
Mom desperately hung on to her son, and her son's the force of
Like
the
the air pressure.
aircraft, right, air pressure was so intense that it ripped his shirt off of him, apparently.
Whoa.
So
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about freaking mom, freaking hero, right? But
Right. No, that's well, yeah, there was a flight from like Miami to Boston like a year ago, and it's a two-engine plane, and one of the engines just
yeah,
just drops off. And the pilot's like, it's okay. These planes are made to fly. You know, we can get to
Yeah,
Boston with just one engine. It's just going to take an
yeah.
extra hour.
yeah.
Like 10 minutes later, the second engine goes out. And one of the passengers is like, great, now we're going to be up here all day.
Listen,
Up here all day.
I'm giving you a yellow card on that one.
Yeah. There was another like a single engine plane that that crashed in the Caribbean that killed an entire family, and now you're making these engine blower jokes. It's just unfathomable. Yeah.
I'm just not a good person.
not.
Speaking of not a good person, anything happening in sports, Biff?
Oh my God, the PWHL made its debut this week. So that's the Women's Professional Hockey League. And I missed a couple of the games, but I gotta say, it's been exciting. And I'm gonna hold off a lot of my discussion until like kind of a future time because I am. But I gotta say, it's been fun, and it's just been great watching. The hockey's been really, really good. I in fact a little bit about an hour before we chatted, I just finished watching a game between Minnesota and Montreal, and 13,000 people at the Excel Center. So yeah, fabulous. So
Yeah, there's a team in Boston that's
fucking
playing
Hillary
at
Knight's on that team.
I
Yeah,
want to
that's a
say
good team.
Aganis Arena. Aganis Arena where BU plays. That's a great building. That's a
Okay.
great place to see. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, a lot of concerts there. Management go. No, so that is big. For us, like I said, it's all European football all the time.
Right.
And my kid went from loving Man City and Real to loving Real
Yeah.
and AC Milan, and now it's all AC Milan. So he literally says the other day, doesn't say we have to get Paramount Plus. No, we don't. It's like, why? Because I said, all the Prem League games are on Peacock. We have Peacock. AC Milan plays on Paramount Plus, and I want, we have to get that.
Oh, interesting.
I have a username and password for you.
Are you watching a lot of AC Milan?
No, we didn't hear any of that stuff. Yeah, no, sorry.
Are you seeing? Yes. Don't praise the machine. Yeah, and it's true. There's a player on AC Milan that we saw last summer, and I'm like, Squish, who is that? It's pretty much. Maybe unarguably the greatest American footballer. The guy's name is Peliznik, and when I say he is just watching poetry, I mean this guy, he has no flaw in his game, like literally no flaw in his game. Honestly, to put it in your terms, Biff, he's kind of like not kind of like a Patrice Bergeron, where like his area is the entire field. Like there's no weakness to his game, like just proficient at everything. And I saw him score a goal a couple weeks ago, and it was like, on a cross, ball never hits the ground, and from just outside the box, which is, I don't know the conversion from yards to meters, but hold on, I'm doing the math, a long fucking way. Like just when Ben's on it, and I'm like, oh man, this guy is good. And sadly, it's the one jersey he doesn't have, so I will be going and getting a new jersey this week because
you going to New Jersey this week? You're gonna go to New Jersey?
I'll probably take him to the Pele store. We're overdue for a trip down to New York and the Pele store there, so he loves that place. So we'll probably drive down there in the next couple weeks.
Did I mention I've seen Pele play?
Did you really? Where?
In Toronto. I think so. It was one of those deals. I think he was actually, I can't remember the other team. I don't even think Toronto had a team, but I think it was one of those deals where these teams played wherever. So it's that it's a North American NASL. Is that what it was used to be
When
called?
he was playing for the team in New York.
New York Cosmos. He was playing for
Yeah,
the New York Cosmos. And so essentially what happened was my dad's um, vice president said, you know what? And he was Canadian of Greek descent. And he was a he was a football nut. And he goes, listen, this is going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity to see the greatest player in the history of the game. And so he basically, took me to it. And obviously, I mean, I was like about 80 years old and I didn't understand the game at all. I did not understand the greatness, so it's really, really unfortunate that the moment was wasted on me. But I did see Pele in Toronto.
That's not a waste. Just beholding his, him playing is a sight to.
That's awesome, Biff. No, seriously, Biff. Well, it's funny because.
But I've also seen Wayne Gretzky play.
I've seen him too. I've seen him in
I've actually met Wayne Gretzky.
Where were you?
I was at LAX. Funny thing, I was actually dropping my friend off. A friend of mine was staying with me, dropping him off at the airport. I run into Wayne Gretzky, and of all things, I'm wearing an Edmonton Oilers jersey. So freaking
nice.
Totally the right outfit to be meeting Wayne Gretzky. Anyway,
there's been a couple times I've had people like, "Hey, there's an event. Wayne's probably going to be there if you want to meet him." I'm like, "No, that's okay." I don't. It's one of those things where, look, Joe saw me in person around Henry Winkler.
I'll say this, right?
And I don't have a Fonz tattoo I have a Wayne Gretzky tattoo.
Yeah. I'll say this. Wayne Gretzky, as great as he is, I mean, the guy that really, really shook me the first time I met him is Rogie Vachon, the former goalie for the LA Kings. Because, when I was growing up, I mean, he was one of the greats. And so, and I ran into him at I took my stepson to a Kings preseason kind of a practice / tryout kind of a session. And then, but what was great was that I met him then, and I got that Henry Winkler moment out of the way. So that what happened was I met him a second time for doing the Paul Aguirre's the
70th. Was it the 70th probably?
No. Well, so the second time around, what it was, we he had a charity for it's called Freeze the Disease.
Right. Up in Valencia.
And so and so Rogie Vachon was like our honorary coach on my side. And he sees the freaking goalie, and I just start chatting with him. And I said, I met you once, and blah blah blah, and we start talking to all kinds of and it was great because essentially I had 20 minutes pregame, just chatting hockey with like one of the greats.
Did he come over in the expansion draft? How did the Kings get him from Montreal?
Oh. Yeah, I don't think you want to know about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm a jerk. So what he was actually the starting goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens. But then this guy came around. His name is like Ken Dryden or
some college fuck,
some college fuck from Cornell. Fuck. And so they said, you know what? He saw the kind of the writing on the wall and said, you know what? If I'm not going to play, I want out. So he basically demanded a trade.
Oh,
yeah.
Hard to say who won that one.
Well, that
6 cups in 8 years.
Well, I mean, Rogie has like 3 cups with the Canadiens, so I mean, he's fine. I mean, he already had his cups,
right. And now he's a legend. And all right. More importantly, Joe, what are you watching on the old telly these days?
Oh, nothing good. No, I think the most recent thing I've watched is Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, I've been kind of in YouTube land. I don't know. I'm just sort of
I just wanted to mention that PWHLs, the women's hockey games are all telecasted live on YouTube. So,
nice.
Yeah, I know you're dying.
Subscription based, or is it just
no,
free?
No.
Just free
straight up.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
By the way, I did do the lookup earlier on that Afterschool Special that I mentioned is on YouTube also. So
of course, you know what? I might be I might have a movie of the week section coming up on my
That,
Plex
we should
account.
do that, right?
Thank
we
you.
should all like look
Or like a
watch-
YouTube playlist. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you can do like I don't know if you can do it on Plex, but I know on some of the other streaming things. So maybe you can do it on YouTube or Plex. You can do watch parties where you can all watch at the same time, and it will all start at the same time. You know what I mean? So we
I know.
we can watch Boy in a Plastic Bubble together. Think about that.
All the
Man, I haven't
possibilities
seen
are
that
endless.
since it aired.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really? Oh, it
Never.
was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I want to watch it.
Yeah. But YouTube I think is better because then, obviously other people can, Plex is kind of limited to access to the files and stuff like that, right?
Yes, right. It's a closed circuit television.
Right.
Basically.
Whereas, YouTube, everyone has access to it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do
I
a
think
YouTube
maybe
playlist.
That's a good, future sideshow. Like we all have to come up with, like, say 3 YouTube, videos with like a time frame, like pick a time frame, like let's say like 1965 to 1985, original air date, right?
Yeah, I think 1 year. I think maybe one. Maybe
Or 1 year. Yeah, you could just do it. Yeah,
just do a year.
Because there's so many. I've done the research so far.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there.
Joe and I don't know if we already talked about this because I've talked about it so much with Joe and other people. Did we talk about that Joe and I watched the Donnie and Marie Christmas special?
Yes, we mentioned that in the last podcast.
I was just telling my sister about we had watched the Donnie and Marie story.
I watched all of them.
Dude, that's because you can't possibly remember how awesome they actually
they're incredible.
Yeah. I mean, what's not awesome is it was kind of disappointing. I have to say, was I stumbled, of course, in my YouTube rabbit hole. I stumbled upon the Linda Lavin special. Do you remember? You know who Linda Lavin is?
Yeah.
I run into her at the airport.
Oh,
one that I run into at the airport.
Tell us your Linda Lavin story.
You know what's funny is because I recognized her. So, okay, that's Linda Lavin, but you know what? I mean, I never really watched the waitress show. I can't remember what it was called. Alice, that's right.
Based on Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore by Martin Scorsese, a drama.
There you go. But anyway, so I said, I'm not going to bother her. And then like about 20 minutes later, the airline desk calls. Yeah, Miss Lavin, please come to the the front, to the whatever. Right, okay, yeah. So that totally, reaffirmed
that's
that.
awesome.
That it completely outed her too. Miss Linda
Right,
Lavin, please
exactly.
report to this
Alice
location.
Get your grits over.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Linda Lavin special is very jokey because I thought of her like she would, she would try to like she sang the theme song, as we all know, but she doesn't hit all the notes. And so I think she leans on like joking it up. Like she actually has like an interaction with Alice, like via television magic.
Is it like it was like she had a physics professor debating an episode of Alice, Joe?
Nothing that intellectual, no. But it was not everything was cracked up to be in my head when I saw Linda Lavin. Oh my God!
Why do I want to watch it now? like
it's
you're
only an hour.
An awful picture.
Listen, I gave you 2 things that you could watch: Shields and Your Nail, Holmes and Yo-Yo.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. And I got my Archie Bunker chair to comfortably watch all of this. I just finished watching season 3 of a BBC show called Slow Horses, which is like kind of the misfits of M5, the British Secret Service. They're on the outs. They're kind of Secret Service people, but they're not really. They are, but they're and it's great. It's so well written. It is so smart. It is it's I was recommended it by my friend Dan, who I don't think has given me bad recognition ever. Really smart, and it's British witty drama. Spy versus spy. I am too. And the other one that I told Joe that I'm surprised his wife hasn't watched. Management and I just watched a limited series. Like I think it's 6 or 8 episodes. Maybe there's a season 2. They wrapped it up, but then at the very end they're like, yeah, this is how we could have a season 2. But it's a naked body with one eye shut out appears in an alley in London in 1860 and 1941 and in 1923 or 2023 in 2023. I'm sorry, like over almost 170 years, the same body appears in these alleys in the same conditions. And so it's a time travel loop kind of thing, but the costuming is just fantastic. For that alone, I thought Joe's White would be all over that. Bodies.
Oh, okay.
Bodies.
So it's British. It's period pieces.
No, it's British.
British, but it is. It's fantastic. That's what I've been watching, and what do we got for parenting tips?
Well, so before, because
Okay, yeah.
Does
Please.
Joe have anything that you're watching, or?
No, he's just a Linda Lavin. Weren't you here for that?
Yeah, that was it. The Linda
So I do have to say I did go to see a movie.
Oh,
So
what do you see?
Godzilla -1, fantastic.
Oh,
see
great!
Godzilla -1 color.
No, not minus color. It wasn't, but
No, I'm not joking that they're actually re-releasing it minus color.
Yeah, no, this, and it makes sense that they would do that because of the premise of the movie. But enjoyed it. I went to see it with my son. Enjoyed it tremendously. So, and it's one of those movies that not perfect. I would say that if I was to rate it, it's probably around a 6, but still a lot of fun. And
on a scale of 1 to Pacific Rim, where would you rate it?
Oh, you cannot compare with Pacific effing Rim. Come on.
Which I watched last week.
You know what? Guillermo del Toro, God, that guy just gets it. I mean, that guy.
I read a great story. Maybe you sent it to me. The little girl, couldn't say his name.
They called him Totoro. She called him Totoro.
How great is that?
That's just
how sweet is that?
Yeah.
What a good guy.
Yeah. So like if you watched, this is not a spoiler. So there's a portion in Pacific Rim where one of the female lead in the movie has a childhood moment where she's saved by what's his
Idris Elba.
Right, that's right. And so so the little girl played by her is actually one of the biggest actresses in Japan, and as a child actress, like she was a much bigger actress in Japan than the woman who actually played the lead, even though she had like a a 15-second part. But so but yeah, but that was the story that I kind of just arbitrarily found.
Now I want to see Benicio del Toro's Totoro.
Oh,
Like,
it's yeah.
It's imaginary. I just made it.
By the way, I
know.
have also been watching that little girl has been on this TV show with this a comedic pair from Japan, and I've been watching that also, but that's a different issue.
Is it a reboot of Jeff and Pink Ladies?
No.
Pink Lady and Jeff.
Pink Lady and Jeff.
If I've told them once, I've told them 100 times.
First Spinal Tap, then
the Puppet Show.
Yeah.
But what do we got for parenting tip, boys?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just leave the kids alone, and that's what I did with my kid.
Hey,
Yeah.
teacher.
Teacher, leave my kids. There you go. Freaking Pink
Well
Floyd.
played, Joe.
I'm taking Pink Floyd parenting.
Yeah.
No, and so he managed to get his I think it would have been easy. My dad would have been nagging me about doing something with my life, and then once again, that's a Twisted Sister video, but but
Is that a pledge pin on your uniform?
Yeah, that's right. Classic. Did I mention I ran into Dee Snider at an airport once?
Oh my God. Why are you hanging out at airports so much?
I
You know that movie about the guy who was trapped in an airport for 8 years? That's Biff's story.
Catch me.
I've got like
the terminal.
I've got like 2 million miles over like 3 airlines. So anyway, yeah. So he's just started his new job. So yeah, sometimes that just like just letting him do his thing just kind of works, because he figured out that what, I need money.
Yeah. What's your parenting tip, Jacques? I'm salivating at knowing what your parenting tip is.
So as we speak, just before we press record on the Zoom, my oldest kid, who's a freshman, again, never a sports kid, did high school football this year. Now he's on the swim team, and because it's a small world, his swim team just competed against Joe's youngest kid's swim team, Minuteman. And my kid's team won, which means I have a bigger penis than Joe, or something like that. Look, it's science.
Oh, Mr. I have a penis is bragging. Oh.
It's science. So my kid the other day,
You know, it's 2024 now, Jacques. We don't need
and
to, we don't need to
and
do
and you know, and one of the heats, like out of 6 swimmers, he was like, you know, 4th or 5th. They came, him and the other swimmer touched the wall at the same time. So and he was in 4 other meets that day, but the whole way home he's pissed at himself, and he's like, a loser, and I'm not good at this. I'm like, here's my parenting tip, because I told him, I said, dude, like, if I told you a year ago what it would require to pass the lifeguard thing, you probably wouldn't have gone because you didn't think you could do it. And he's like, yeah. I said, if I told you how much swimming this would be, you've been doing it a month. And so, you know, so he was shitting on himself. And I told him he has to stop because A, that takes my fun out of it. But I said, B, you're talking shit about somebody I really like, and you got to stop that. So my parenting tip is sometimes you have to tell your kids you need more self-esteem, you moron. Otherwise, you just, you know, will be riddled with self-doubt. So stop being an idiot.
Get confident, stupid.
And start getting confident, stupid. That's my parenting tip. And now I'm turning it over to Joe and Biff and Joe.
Right. But isn't self-esteem, isn't that a song? You know.
Yeah, I'm just a sucker with no self-esteem.
The Offspring, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, The Offspring. Yeah, that album, man, that was a seminal point in rock history.
You know, there's a whole thing that we could talk about how they actually rejected SNL appearance because at the time, I think SNL kind of sucked. That might have been that era where Christopher Guest and, you know, Billy Crystal might have been on the cast. Who knows?
They were around in 1980. Is that what you're saying?
No, I know that I guess it's not that era, but you know, no. I can't remember.
It might have been like the the mid 90s when like Adam Sandler's like Last Year kind of thing.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that Leslie Nielsen over there? Like
Leslie Nielsen.
I'm hearing a fart machine.
Fart machine. We need to get one of those.
Yeah, that should be the podcast. Just fart machine noises. It would be more accurate to how I sound to my. That's what I hear when I edit myself. It's just like, oh my God, I'm talking again. So yeah, that's it. Oh my God, it's like Michael Winslow is here. You know, we got the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. The what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. That's not all he's lost. That was from Spaceballs. Thank you. No, sit down, please. Please,
we
sit
ain't
down.
found shit.
Yeah, we ain't found shit. I just found out that we ain't found shit guy from Spaceballs is Tim Russ, who played Tuvok on Voyager. Star Trek Voyager. He was the guy. Like, I had no idea. I was like, wow, amazing. Do you know that Jim J. Bullock also played, the Prince Valium?
Oh,
remember?
Holy
Go
crap.
back. Yeah.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yes. And Dick Van Patten played, yes.
Yeah.
And Bill Pullman was in Independence Day. He was also in that movie. Mel Brooks wrote that and directed it. No, did he write it? Maybe he did.
I think so,
he wrote and directed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I remember I just recently saw an article about him asking Lucas for permission, and basically Lucas said, "Yeah, as long as you don't merchandise stuff." And then of course, and then he put in that merchandising thing into the movie, right?
Yes, right. Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Yeah. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Spaceballs the doll. Me.
Yeah.
Mina Schwartz be with you. Adorable. Oh man, I could just do lines from Spaceballs all end of this podcast, but I won't. You could just go watch the movie. It's a fun movie. A fine movie indeed. I saw that before I saw Star Wars. That's my big New Year's revelation to you all. I saw Spaceballs 1987 before Star Wars 1977. I was 10 years old at the time. Yes. And I didn't see Star Wars until 1997. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I'm telling you, I'm bearing it all. Joe tells all.
Wow.
I'm gay. All right. Nah, I'm just kidding. I like the ladies. You know, me and Kato, we like the ladies. I just wanted to, you don't want to give you the wrong idea. You know, I'm not gay. Is what a gay man would say. A deeply closeted gay man. You're gay? No. I'm deeply closeted is what I'm saying. I'm a deeply closeted gay man. Can't you hear what I'm saying? I don't know. All right. Well, we miss you, Norm. We miss everybody. And nobody will miss me when I say don't forget.